Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm excited to show you a new crochet stitch that looks like knitting, but it's all crochet. Here's my little swatch. It's simple, textured, and great for tops or cardigans. Grab your yarn and a slightly bigger hook and let's begin. This stitch is worked with a crochet hook, not knitting needles. If it looked like a knitted stitch at first glance, that means I did a good job fooling you. It actually belongs to a family of crochet stitches that imitate knitting. I think it's a perfect crochet alternative to a classic knitted lace stitch. I plan to make a summer top with this pattern. I'm not sure yet if I'll release a full tutorial because the stitch is quite simple and I already showed a similar one last year. Some of you might even remember it and wonder why I'm repeating it, but this time I modified the design and I think it's worth sharing because different yarns often call for adjusting stitch patterns. In last year's version, the open workspaces were much larger. This time I'm using a heavier yarn for a garment and I didn't want such big holes, so I changed the stitch slightly to create smaller openings. If you enjoy this, leave a like and comment so I'll know whether you'd like to see more tutorials like this. For example, how to make stitches shorter or taller and how to adjust them for different yarns. For this project, I'm using Yarn Art Symphony, a soft cotton viscose cord. I love cord style yarns and thought this would be perfect for a summer top. I'm working with a 5mm crochet hook. For this kind of textured stitch, I usually go up a hook size from what's recommended on the yarn label. The yarn label recommends a 4mm hook, but I'm using a 5mm hook. For the stitch pattern, you need a multiple of 6 chains plus 5. I chained 23. Once the chain is made, I'll move on to the setup row. The setup row is not part of the pattern repeat. So chain 1 to turn, then I'll insert the hook into the back bump of the second chain from the hook. See 1, 2, so I'll be inserting it here. First, yarn over, and then insert the hook into the back bump of the second chain from the hook. Pull up a loop and then pull that loop through all the loops on the hook. That's a slip stitch with a yarn over 1, into the next stitch through the back bump 2, into the next stitch 3, into the next stitch 4, and I'll continue this way to the end of the row. I'm currently working on the wrong side. The right side is forming on the bottom. You can see these little braids forming on the right side. You should have a total of 23 slip stitches with a yarn over, the same number as the starting chain. I've finished the setup row. Now for the first row of the pattern repeat. So chain 1 and turn. This is where the vertical and horizontal repeats begin. Insert the hook into the back loop of the second stitch from the hook, 1, 2, pick up the working yarn and make a slip stitch 1. Into the back loop of the next stitch, pick up the working yarn and make another slip stitch 2. Next, chain 2, 1, 2, then yarn over, skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, and insert the hook into the back loop of the third stitch. Make a half double crochet. One, yarn over again, insert the hook into the back loop of the next stitch and make a slip stitch with a yarn over. That's the horizontal repeat for this row. I'll keep repeating this sequence. 2 slip stitches in the back loop, 2 chain stitches, 1 half double crochet, and a slip stitch with a yarn over. I will repeat this to the end of the row. 2 slip stitches. All stitches are worked in the back loop only. Chain 2, a half double crochet, and a slip stitch with a yarn over. Again, 2 slip stitches, 1, 2, chain 2, and in the very last stitch I will finish with a half double crochet. This means I'm 1 stitch short of completing the final repeat, which is correct. Next is the second row, which is an even numbered row. All even numbered rows are worked the same. It will be worked exactly like the setup row. So chain 1, turn yarn over, insert the hook into the back loop of the second stitch from the hook, and make a slip stitch with a yarn over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 'I will again have 23 slip stitches with a yarn over. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 in the last stitch. That's correct. I recommend counting your stitches in the even rows to make sure you haven't made any mistakes and to double check your work. I've now completed 2 pairs of rows. Next will be the third and fourth rows. They will be almost identical to the first pair of rows, but the pattern will be staggered, creating a checkerboard effect. I will start this row as follows. Chain 2 for the turning chain 1, 2, and turn the work to the right side. Then yarn over. I will skip the stitch that the turning chain is coming from, and I'll insert my hook into the back loop of the next stitch and make a half double crochet. One, yarn over and into the next stitch, a slip stitch with a yarn over. I'm starting with this part of the repeat. The repeat starts with a half double crochet, a slip stitch with a yarn over, then 2 slip stitches, 1, 2. All stitches are worked into the back loop only, and then chain 2. That is the repeat for this row, and it's repeated to the end. 1, 2, I skip them, half double crochet, slip stitch with a yarn over, then 2 slip stitches, 1, 2, chain 2, and again a half double crochet, a slip stitch with a yarn over, 2 slip stitches, 1, 2, and chain 2, half double crochet, a slip stitch with a yarn over, and 2 slip stitches, 1, 2, and that's the end of the row. That's correct, everything is right. And now for the 4th row. It's an even row, so it's the same as all the other even rows. Chain 1, turn yarn over. Into the 2nd stitch from the hook, I insert my hook and make a slip stitch with a yarn over. Again, yarn over again into the back loop of the next stitch. There will be 23 slip stitches with a yarn over worked into the back loop. This is an important point. It's important not to miss it, otherwise the stitch count will change. This is the 22nd stitch, the second to last one, and watch where the final stitch is made. This is a very important step, don't miss it. Here is the 2 chain turning chain from the previous row, and the last stitch is worked into the 2nd chain of that turning chain in the back loop. Here it is, the 2nd chain. It's important to also work a slip stitch with a yarn over into it. And here is the small motif made from 2 pairs of rows. This completes the vertical repeat. After this, you go back to the 1st row, not the setup row, but back to the 1st row, and repeat rows 1 through 4 to your desired height. And here is my finished sample in a larger piece. This is how the stitch pattern looks. This isn't a mistake, this is my side seam, or rather a simulation of it and the next half. And of course, this project will be worn like this. Let me show you. It will be worn so that these braids, which are formed by the slip stitches with a yarn over, are going upwards. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you like the stitch pattern. Thank you in advance for your likes, for watching my videos, and for asking questions in the comments. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.